Hi, my name is Paul Leonard. I'm standing at the intersection of Twining Road and Limecombe Pike here in Drescher section of Upper Dublin Township. I'm the township manager, and I wanted to take a couple minutes to go over a project that the Upper Dublin School District is involved with, and particularly to focus on the township's role in that. This intersection, you can hear the jackhammer behind me, is being cut up to allow for better pedestrian safety. The intersection is controlled by Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, and they're going to spend about $35,000 to $40,000 making improvements so that the intersection is safer to cross. It's a large intersection, and the facility to my right is the Sandy Run Middle School. This project, which the school board is taking up, is going to completely redo this property, and it represents about a $70 to $75 million investment. The township's role in that is important in that we control land use regulations and building permits, but interestingly, the Board of School Directors has complete discretion. They're exempt from zoning as regards where the building goes. And the township staff, who I work with, and I know the Board of Commissioners, who I work for, respect that. They made a decision to use this site, which is a tough one. It's older, and a large chunk of it has floodplain running across it from the Sandy Run. I've been involved with the Township Emergency Management and Fire Company and police responses, and we've had dramatic rescues on the Sandy Run and significant flooding. They're moving away from it, and they're taking steps to help prevent flooding for people downstream. So one of the township's regulatory rules was to mandate the installation of stormwater management on this property. Right now, today, there's no stormwater controls at all. All the roof, all the parking lots, all the property runs off into the stream. At the completion of their investment, it'll include large underground detention basins because the property's small. That'll allow them to have more land to work with. Also, further to my right, on Twining Road, the school district made a decision to shift traffic from the residential neighborhood street to a more major collector street owned by the township called Twining Road. What they're doing, and it's expensive, is they're installing a deceleration lane so that the buses and the cars that go in to drop kids off at the school will have a safe place to pull into the driveway. And if they're really busy, if they queue up, they have a safe place to be in line to wait to pick up their children. That's needed because we don't want anybody to get rear-ended up front on Twining Road as they're using the school facility. The school directors have invested in many other things on the site, and most of them are required not just by the township, by state and federal law. That detention, the amount of improvements for trees, landscaping, the nature of their construction is in the township purview. And the Township Planning Commission, the township engineer, and the township's traffic engineer have all reviewed these projects to make sure that they go in according to regulation, just as any land development, whether publicly owned, as this one is, or privately is made. More importantly, we did take a look and add what's called value engineering to it. For example, there's a stack of old fence here. This stuff is green galvanized, pretty valuable stuff. You can't buy it anymore. And the township did not require fencing one way or the other. But the school district, in their wisdom, is installing fencing to make sure that we have don't have inadvertent entry to these roadways. I believe they're going to save the green galvanized cyclone fabric, which is pretty good. We can't get that anymore. I think they've rolled that up properly and going to save it. Getting back to the township's role on parking, for example, the number of parking spots required is in the zoning ordinance. The school directors have complied with that. In fact, in some cases, exceeded the parking. Land development, the earthwork, the traffic, and other safety improvements need to go in. And the question comes up about, are these township projects? Why shouldn't the township pay for that? And a rather subtle point is this, is that the township does have an earned income tax. It represents almost 40% of our revenues to township to pay for police, fire, ambulance, park and recreation, all our other services. That is imposed on non-residents, and the township is allowed to do that. The school district is not. One of the reasons that it's important the school district absorb these costs, and we understand that we have the exact same tax base, is that when non-residents pay for that, it's not proper for the township to do school projects with their money. They don't have representation here, and importantly, the state prohibits that. It's possible that the township could be open to a taxpayer suit if we started to assume projects that are inherently part of the school districts. The original budget from January of this year showed about $1.3 million for earth excavation and exporting fill from this site. Simply put, as they work on the hills, they're going to cut it out and they have to get rid of that material. The township cooperated, and we have an agreement that in the next 2 years we will accept that fill at a township property over the hill to Twining Valley Golf Course. Again, the original budget to export that was $1.3 million. We think we've cut that cost significantly with the township being able to strike the material off, grade it, and seed it, and get the appropriate permits to use it at Twining Valley for that exciting project. I would offer my direct phone number of 215-643-8848. I'll repeat that, 643-8848, to any resident that wants to question me or perhaps correct me on anything in this video. But I can tell you this, is that we are very pleased to report that we have a number of other cooperative arrangements to drive down the cost on this project, to cooperate with the school district, and help make their investment in this property for all the township go well. Thank you.